Is Giannis closer or further away from leaving Milwaukee?
Apparently, he was big on getting Miles. So, like, he apparently, from the reports, what I've read, he was petitioning for them to get Miles Turner. He was in the know-all with Miles Turner. I didn't read that he knew about them having to release Dame to get him, though.
He wasn't happy about that.
I know for a fact he wasn't happy.
That's the only way they can bring
so
him
he
around.
probably didn't know that part, but he definitely was in the conversations of getting Miles Turner. And not for nothing, I do think Giannis and Miles is a great, like, big man tandem. I think they'll fit extremely perfect together. They brought back Gary Trent Jr. They brought back Torian
Bobby
Prince.
Portis.
Yeah, they brought back Bobby. Well, he was never leaving because he was it was a player team option, some shit like that. But they brought back Bobby Portis. His team is still probably going to be a top 10 team in the East because of Giannis. But I don't know. Like, he's given he hasn't given me any indication that he's closer or further away. I just know he's upset about Dame.
I would say he's further away from leaving. I would be in the same line of thinking. Miles Turner is an amazing fit. That's probably why Giannis wanted to play with him, so he doesn't have to play the 5, and he gets himself really a younger and slightly better version of Brook Lopez. The issue is that you're practically playing $50 million when you consider the fact you're paying Dame $20+ million to not play on their team.
That's crazy.
They have done everything they possibly can. They've made some good moves in the margins, yet in spite of all of that, there's no realistic path to this team contending, and for that, I'm going to have to say it's further away from staying.
This is tough because John Horst is a better man than me. If Giannis was surrounded by the roster that he's currently surrounded with and I was running the Bucks, I would trade him. I feel like that's the only realistic avenue to get things back for him.
They don't own their future. That's the
They
problem.
don't.
You have to trade for those picks.
And that's why I trade him to own my future.
Really?
But
So,
John Horst is making it clear that his number one priority is making sure that Milwaukee is keeping Giannis and making sure Giannis retires as a Milwaukee Bucks player. And I think Miles Turner was a step in the right direction because when you think about it, Damian Lillard coming off that Achilles, he was not going to play this entire year. So that's $50 million that you're just wasting for him not playing. And then you have to also take into account, how is he going to recover from it? Is he going to be the same player he's going to be? So that's $100 million over the course of 2 years. You'd be playing for a player that's not going to play that first year, and the second year is not going to be the same. So you'd rather stretch that over the course of 5 seasons and take that $20 million cap hit to your cap and then sign Miles Turner because it made them better. You know, I think with Dame being out for the year, getting Miles Turner makes the Bucks better for this upcoming season. But it also takes away their mid-level exception. They cannot use it anymore. And to John's point, now because of you waiving and stretching Dame and Miles Turner getting the contract that he got, you're paying Dame, Miles Turner, and Kyle Kuzma because he's not off the Bucks until the 26-27 season. Hey, not my favorite player. You're paying those 3 players, Kuzma, Turner, and Dame, upwards to $70 to $80 million for the next 2 seasons. And that's about 85% of your cap. Next offseason, the Bucks will get some assets. They'll get some first-round picks to trade. They also will have the mid-level exception available to them to add a quality player. But it just seems like the Bucks are still very much far away. This was a desperation move. This was a half-court heave at keeping Giannis in Milwaukee. And really, I think the ball is in Giannis's court. If Giannis is really truthful about what he said in the past, that he wants to win championships, then I think he is going to leave Milwaukee because there's no viable way to contend in the near future for the Bucks, in my opinion. But if he is going to stick by the team and he's content with at least seeing them continue to try to surround him with the team, I think he'll stay. I think right now he's further away from leaving the Bucks, but it still feels like very much the Bucks are in flux and his future is in question.
They just have nothing left in their championship team.
Yeah.
All of it is gone.
Well, Bobby Portis.
That's the one player.
Yeah. Shout out to Bobby.
They just traded Connaughton and
Pat's gone.
And they traded second-round picks attached to
I've deleted
Connaughton.
Pat Connaughton 2K so many times, I'd be forgetting he's in the league.
Yeah, I mean, Giannis,
Why?
Miles Turner, Bobby
Brandon
Portis,
Jennings. I'd be putting him on the Bucks.
Gary Trent Jr. They released Ryan Rollins. They couldn't
Really?
keep him, yeah.
they should
can't
try to
keep
run him
him.
back. If they have to on the minimum, that's their
They're-
best perimeter defender at a point.
Only semi-good guy that can stay in front of somebody.
Yeah, like I think the best case scenario for the Bucks is that Kyle Kuzma plays well for them, and
He's
then
so serious.
they can trade him for something for a player. Like I think Giannis
Should just leave, bro.
with 4 to 5 quality players can do something. Right now is Miles Turner.
Yep.
That's one like real high quality player. I think with the mid-level exception next offseason, they could add another one. That'll be 3. So now it's really just about filling out those last 2 spots with.
You wouldn't consider Bobby Portis a quality player?
A backup. More so
backup.
depth, I
Okay.
think. So same thing. I view Gary Trent Jr. the same way as well. I think off the bench he'd be really good. Starting a 2 guard, he played well this past season, but it just feels like the Bucks are very much in flux, and it feels like they're extending this time period.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Even though it should be over.
It's not their fault. Like
Well,
unless
they've made some bad moves.
no, I'm not saying in that regard. I'm saying unless Giannis axes out, you don't trade a player of that caliber.
You should when his trade value is an all-time.
You
peak.
can't, bro.
Once he turns 30, every year matters much more.
I agree, but
and
unless
every year that you do this, you're wasting the trade value to where he's gonna be 33, he's gonna start to decline. You're not gonna have an exit that's effective enough to set you up post.
I agree, but I think like franchise look at it differently when it's a guy who's brought the only championship to their franchise, like in NBA history.
Kareem
Like,
got one.
who?
Kareem got one.
Oh, misspoke.
You good.
They're one championship in the last 40 years.
Last
I'd say
50
that.
years,
Yeah, like
yeah.
40, 50 years. So I think they view that player completely different. Like, and I think they're looking at unless Giannis axes out, which also I feel like we got to look at him too in this regard. Like, you looking at the situation, you don't axe out. How can we just fully put 100% blame on the like organization in that regard? Obviously, they've made mistakes. Obviously, they fucked up. I agree with that. But unless he axes out, trading the franchise player and your best player in franchise history and the guy who's pretty much built your city, it's tough. It's a tough position to be in, especially with the fans and stuff like that. So
I think that the Bucks, they've made so many mistakes. Number 1, they haven't drafted a good player in 7 years. I think that's number 1. Number 2, the Dame trade was a massive failure. It was a flop.
Yeah.
They haven't even played together. They weren't healthy enough to play together. But I think you look at the modern landscape of the NBA, Dame is much better than this. So I don't want to just isolate him to this situation alone. But Dame is a guard that cannot play defense, that is going to average 20 any single given night. How many guards in the NBA right now can give you 20, play no defense, and do it efficiently? There's a lot. And I'm not saying they're better than Dame. Obviously, Dame is the cream of the crop at doing that. But when you're trying to build around Giannis, you need a defensive-minded guard. And I think them putting all their chips in the Dame bag, us knowing that's going to be a disaster defensively, it really put the Bucks back because we have seen the return that Drew Holiday has gotten twice now. At first for the Blazers, what they got for Drew when they traded him to the Celtics, and also what the Celtics got. Like Anthony Simons, is not Dame, but if I'm the Bucks and I had to pick between getting Simons at $20 million versus Dame at 50, I think it's something you can think about because you can fill out the roster better, even if he's not the quality of player Dame is. You can fill the roster out better. So I think those are the massive mistakes that the Bucks have made, and now they don't have any assets for the future. Their cap is tied up to 4 players: Giannis, Miles Turner, Kyle Kuzma, and then Dame. And Dame's not even playing for the team. It just seems like the end is nearing, and they're prolonging it.
Katie talked about it. The small guard is dying in the league, and I think Dame is a part of that. A lot of these small guards, if you can't defend, it's going to be really hard, to keep you out there on the floor unless, like you mentioned, you're giving them 27, 28 like a Donovan Mitchell every night. So, and especially him getting a year older, him already being up there in age, coming off an Achilles injury, it's brutal. A guy who is very active, very movable on the court, likes to move, come off the screens, hit off the dribble. It's gonna be tough. So, wishing Dame a speedy recovery. I'm excited to see what team he picks next offseason to kind of ring chase. I think he should have ring chase. I think it's time to ring chase. Dame, go ring chase. We're giving you that outing. But yeah, it's for the Bucks. You put yourself in this hole. See how you get out of it. You said Portland has all their picks.
They have 3 of them.
Giannis.
2 swaps and they're 9 picks.
Dangling it up, But we'll see.
The interesting thing about where Dame picks next is there's a lot riding for the Bucks on this, because if Dame picks a team, depending on his contract, that's how much salary the Bucks will have available to use as an
I
exception.
don't think he'll get a lot.
Yeah, so like if Dame signs for the minimum, the Bucks will get like $700,000 of cap space opened up that they can use. But if Dame signs for like a $10 to $15 million deal,
I can see 1 year 15.
That opens up space for Milwaukee to use to get a player. So they're very much hoping that Dame doesn't sign just for the lowest possible number possible.
Now Dame,
They're hoping that he signs for at least something that can get them back some cap space.
Dame about his money, so he ain't you ain't giving him no one vet minimum. He gonna get at least 1 year, $10 million.